Hi, how are you? Today I'll be taking you behind the scenes of my most recent school project, talking about its creation and telling you the feedback I received from my teachers. She'll grow up and put on her suits and try to change the world. This video is all about my self-care, a work in progress routine. I've linked it down below, so if you haven't seen it yet, go watch that video first. This project is the second of my Circadium Winter Creation Friday presentation prompts. I'll also be linking the video I made about the week 1 prompt, so check that out, especially if you want more backstory on these projects. Alright, let's start by going to Google Classroom so I can read the prompt for you guys. Week 2 was Deconstructed Apparatus. Create a 2 to 3 minute solo movement video in which you are interacting with your apparatus, or the objects or key elements of your circus discipline, in an uncommon way. Okay, I chose aerial silks as my deconstructed apparatus. When I was brainstorming for ideas, the first thing that happened was my song choice. I was exposed to the song Tabletop by Austin Giorgio by my Apple Music, so thank you Apple Music. I had saved it to my library and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it yet. And then when I started working on this project, I thought, you know what, let's just use it right now. So that was the first bit of inspiration. That song has a really fun, upbeat kind of, cheeriness to it as it goes on. And that was definitely what I wanted to happen with the final piece. Immediately, I had this short film style video idea in my head. It was quite ambitious and continued to be quite ambitious the entire way through the process. As it got closer to show this to my class, I realized that I had really run out of time. I was very busy the week leading up to this, and so I ended up shooting it all in one Thursday afternoon. Our class was on Friday and I did the entire project Thursday afternoon. I had one crew member, being myself, 2 box lights, my camera, a lot of silks, and a lot of very suspicious ways to hang up my silks. So I had this vision of the silks being used in their deconstructed form as paint. I thought, these are these beautiful massive stripes of color, and where else does beautiful stripes of color find themselves? Artwork. And I really wanted to showcase art as therapy. Now, again, it started out more ambitious than the final product, which was a little more simple in its visual design, but it still really pushed my point across, and I'm really proud of that. I think it was a super clever, not to pat myself on the back or anything, but I think it was a really super clever way to use aerial fabrics in an unconventional way. So what I decided to do was take my silks and hang them horizontally across my living room. I had a very narrow space to work with because there was a Christmas tree to one side, a staircase to the other side. There was a mirror I had to cover up, so I didn't have a wall. I had to create a backdrop with my fabric, and it was a very tight camera angle, which did come into play later when I was actually filming. I didn't have the best equipment at hand to hang them up, so I kind of just made do with what I could get my hands on, which ended up being one of my light stands, a ladder, 2 of our dining room chairs with weights on them so that they would keep the silks tight, the banister of my staircase, and a basket full of Christmas books. I recorded all of the silks content first, cleaned that all up, and then started recording the opening clips and the painting clips. The painting scene was interesting because I had to let the layers dry in between each take, so that whole little painting took me a few hours to get on film. And with the walking transitional scenes in the beginning, it was a little hard because I am in my parents' house and I had to get the shots right so that you wouldn't kind of see, things that weren't part of the vision. I wanted plain backgrounds, and obviously there is a Christmas tree in our living room right now, and artwork that has colors that I didn't want in the beginning because I wanted more of a desaturated look in those beginning few clips. So those were some more workarounds, but that is the nature of shooting in a, environment that's not a filming studio. Overall, this prompt was so much fun and I'm very happy with my final product, but with the amount of enthusiasm I had for the actual idea, I do wish I had more time and a little bit better setup to work with to really pour out my vision, because in the end, I feel like it's a great working representation of what was in my head, but it's not exactly what was in my head. So I do think that I will keep working with this particular theme. That takes us into feedback, because they also wanted me to redo this piece or keep working and exploring with the theme. Here are my notes that I got. They wanted more circus skills. Now, I will say, with my sketchy rigging setup, I tried to do some circus. Here's how that went. Yeah, so I didn't do circus because it wasn't that safe. And I didn't have a lot of time to think about how to do it safely. But I get the note and I agree with it. They wanted me to tighten everything. They thought some of the clips were too long and it all could have been more concise, which I completely agree with and knew going into it that they were going to say this, because while I was editing it, I thought the exact same thing. I thought all of these clips can be tighter, but I was working with the music and how I wanted it to arc with the piece and all of that. Quick note on music, I did edit the beginning of the song. So it's the full song and then the beginning is some slowed down clips of the opening music that I used to make the song longer, but I didn't necessarily want to make it longer. I wanted to have more instrumental time to get those opening scenes and ideas across. All right, let's talk about the big note. I wrote big note when I was taking notes in class, and this was the one that kind of went into my soul, which there's always one, and this was talking about me not being on social media while I'm performing. Let me explain. My instructors thought that there was a sense of self-consciousness when I would check my viewfinder or when I would look at the camera. There would be a moment of hesitation of, do I look okay? Is this my good side? People are gonna judge this. And I told them that I agreed. And I thought that in this particular piece, it was kind of a chain reaction of, I am low on time. I need to check my viewfinder because my frame is so close and I can't make it bigger because I'm low on time. When I check my viewfinder, I see myself. When I see myself, I think, oh gosh, I'm rushed. This isn't good. What do I look like? Do I look okay? What are they gonna think? So I agree. I think that this project, there was a lot of kind of self-consciousness, but I don't think that it was all personal and deep-rooted and like that I'm super self-conscious. I think that it was under the constraints that I was under, and with the circumstance of me having to look at my camera a lot to make sure that I was physically in frame did cause me to think a lot more about what was going to be seen than I would normally think about when I was just recording something else. And I think it's a fantastic note. I mean, what a gift to be able to work on a more authentic version of myself to share with you all. I try to do that every day, but it's definitely easy to get caught up in what I want you to see versus what you should see. On a less psychological note, they gave me some small corrections of like mouth tension, eyebrow tension, and just overall being softer in my body tension. And the last note I'll talk about is when they told me I don't need to hold the viewer's hand. So they were talking about how like I don't have to spell everything out. I don't have to be like, and now I am painting and I am happier because I am painting. Like I can just do it and they'll understand. And I'm just gonna a little bit kind of give myself the benefit of the doubt of like, I agree, and I don't think I normally would, but I was under time constraints, so I was like, I hope they're understanding what this piece is about because I have one day to do it. But I still take the note and I appreciate it. Overall, the 2020 Circadium virtual winter creation Friday presentation experience was 10 out of 10 for me. I loved it. I loved being able to see the work that my classmates made and, just spend some time behind a camera and then in front of a camera and still feel such human connection. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you on Sunday. This little daisy girl wasn't made to break. Also, have a safe holiday. Please. We gotta have a safe holiday because I love you all.